Native Las Crucen Meg Freÿermuth is a professional artist who paints abstract, colour-drenched portraits of natural landscapes, mainly around Las Cruces and Dona County.
It often goes unrecognized how beautiful it really is, I think. And I see a lot of color out there. Some people just see brown, but I see a whole rainbow of colors, and I want to present that to people and show that this is a beautiful and important area.
Freÿermuth says a retail development at the base of Tortugas Mountain would damage the view she gets painting spots like this one between Las Cruces and the Organ Mountains.
That's like right next to the zoning area, or the property. And then using, say, Sunset Point, the parking lot area, as another viewpoint looking towards the sunset, it would ruin that as well. Light pollution, and the lights coming on right as the sun's setting.
Hikers, mountain bikers and other residents are also concerned about the proposed retail development, as are members of the Tortugas Pueblo congregation, who make an annual pilgrimage up Tortugas Mountain in honour of the Virgin Mary.
What's the possibility of just leaving it as is? Is that completely impossible? That's what just baffles me in this issue, that the public wants it to be left as is, and that is seen as an impossibility.
I mean, we have codes in place, they're law, and we have to follow the law. And public opinion doesn't always factor into the law.
Dona County Director of Community Development, Daniel Hortet, says the land must have a zoning classification. In the ETZ, the 5-mile extraterritorial zoning buffer area between Las Cruces and the county, the zoning choices are residential, commercial and industrial. In a recent meeting, the Zoning Commission chose industrial zoning for the site, which is consistent with its long-time use for mining. But Hortet says further development in the area is inevitable.
The dynamics are going to change. It's not about zoning one at a time. It kind of does, in a sense, have to be started somewhere.
And that is precisely the concern of ETZ Commission member Bob Hearn. Hearn says if development in the area is inevitable, more time is needed for public discussion and research into how it should play out.
The zoning decision on that one piece of property becomes the driver for subsequent zoning, and pretty soon there's a development, a whole area is done, and you look at it and say, we don't want that. How did it get that way? And it got that way because that first plan was made and everything grew out of it.
But the dispute over how the parcel of land should be zoned has been running for close to 3 years. Key factors determining the suitability of commercial development near Tortugas Mountain are the planned expansion of Sonoma Ranch Boulevard and New Mexico State University's plans to build a rodeo arena on land nearby. Freÿermuth says until those plans for growth are actually put into action, the area should be kept in its natural state.
We have huge empty shopping centers there. Why aren't we focusing our attention on developing these areas that were already developed for business, that are sitting there empty?
Freÿermuth's 10-panel painting of the Organ Mountains entitled Leap, It's Unchanging Yet Trembles Sweetly, is on display at the Dona County Government Center. Freÿermuth sees some irony in her work being displayed in the same building where county staff are recommending commercial zoning.
They approved my paintings of the mountains to go up in their building, and they put them in this really significant spot. And all of this is going on while we're talking about big business coming in and, you know, new strip malls coming in right at the foothills of our mountains. It's a very huge mixed message, and especially at that location, it is a gateway to one of the main areas of the Organ Mountains.
As it stands, the codes do not allow for any other zoning classifications, such as open space or wilderness areas, and Hortet says inventing a new classification would unlawfully devalue the property.
We can't change the rules just to fit this certain parcel.
Freÿermuth says about 80% of her work is sketched and painted in the wilderness and natural area surrounding Las Cruces. She says she's concerned that a commercial zoning would open the floodgates for development in the area throughout the Organ Mountains.
I want to paint out here to preserve something as it is seen now. We won't have the views that we have now forever.
The parcel of land's owners declined to be interviewed or comment on their plans for the land following the board's recommendation. In previous meetings, owners indicated that the land would have limited development potential if zoned as industrial. The ETZ's recommendation for industrial zoning will go to a vote by the Extraterritorial Zoning Authority, or ETA, in June. If the industrial zoning recommendation is carried, the land's owners could make their own request for commercial zoning after 31 days. For KRWG, I'm Simon Thompson.